CORSAGE is about the Austrian Empress Elizabeth turning 40 and what that means for her as being only praised and loved for her looks. For me, actually, it's about women who always have been and still are raised to please in order to be loved. And I chose the title because she was really famous for her small waist and was always wearing a very tight corset. And corsage is just a more beautiful word for that. Of course, I read a lot of many biographies, and I live in the center of Vienna, and all the museums, and also the Hofburg, the castle where she lived, is very close to my home. So I really went to all these places and just tried to get to know more about her. And I very quickly realized that most of the biographies, I mean, all biographies are also interpretations of the data we have and the facts we know. But none of us was there, so I felt quite free to create my own story, because very often I thought the biographies had more to do with the people who wrote them, or the time, especially the time they were written in. So I focused on her in her 30s and 40s and read about that, and quickly found out that I didn't know much about that time, because everyone knows how she became an empress, and most people know how she died, how she was murdered. But I didn't know much about her at that age, and I sensed what I loved about it, and what really made me want to do the film is that I sensed that at that age she started to show signs of rebellion against that role and against her position, which I think she never loved. She just happened to become an empress when she was 16, and I think always felt trapped in that role. But at that age, in her late 30s, she started to try to escape the golden cage, and in many ways she traveled a lot. She did a lot of physical exercise, which was not normal at that time, especially not for a woman. And she was really trying to push the boundaries, and she was a smoker, which was not elegant for a woman at that time. There were a lot of small things that felt like provocation or rebellion to me, and I could relate to that, and I thought it would be a good part of her life to talk about women not wanting to meet all the expectations. It was important to me that this would not just be a period film, a biography of someone who lived in the 19th century, but a film that would still resonate with us and that would be timeless and universal. And I think the subject of what society expects women to be and to do on so many levels, we still deal with that a lot. And I think it got even more, the pressure that was put on her to always remain beautiful and be a likable, relatable, beautiful, charismatic character, which in the end just meant be nice and quiet and beautiful. I think that's still very much the case today, and it got even worse through media and social media. So I thought it would something that especially women would still understand today. Well, actually, most of the things I do when I work on a film, based on a lot of preparation, the decisions I then make are mostly intuitive. So sometimes it's really hard to describe why I came up with a certain idea. It's just what happens in the process and what I love about it. And whatever modern elements I used in the film, the music and the production design and the costume design, were all based on the idea of it could have existed. It's just that we think we know how it was, and actually we think that because we saw so many period films. It's not because we were there or did the research, it's just what we are used to. And I wanted to question that and just really don't feel trapped in that I have to do it right. I just wanted to do it like I always do it, work really intuitively and use the elements that would transport what I wanted. I think Vicky showing the middle finger in that scene really happened in the moment. It was something that I think she came up with in that very moment. And the funny thing is that someone wrote to me that the middle finger existed way earlier. It's not even made up, really. It's just something that already people used already in the Middle Age. I didn't know that either, but I find it important to have that. I mean, I have a tattoo here because it was there before the film. But I think the middle finger is just a very clear symbol of showing someone to fuck off. And sometimes you just need that. And I thought it made absolute sense for her to use it in that scene. And at that point, we were already in a state where we would use modern elements anyway. So we didn't care if it was right or wrong.